outs. 2 shouts outs.
How do I say that?
2 shout outs.
2 shout outs. 2
shout outs.
Paul
Salit.
Salibi. Paul Salibi. And
yeah.
we're sorry. We've been trying really hard to.
He said it was difficult, but he is a wonderful designer and social media genius.
So Paul took our voice, our intro, and put the music to it, or vice versa, just put them together, and that's what you hear at the beginning of our podcast. And another shout out to my son Tyler, whose voice you hear. That's his voice. So I'm super excited and very grateful to both of them. So we wanted to recognize them. So how are you today?
Very well.
Yeah?
Very, very, very
Very,
well.
very, very well. No, we're not wearing the same clothes as last week's episode. These are going to be my podcast pants. They're super comfortable.
PPs.
Podcast pants.
Podcast pants.
And then just change up the tops.
These I pulled off the rack at the studio today. The moon phase. I know.
Them.
I do too.
I love them.
I didn't go to the studio.
I was like,
with
wait
no
a minute,
pants on.
what happened here?
I had
you had
pants
to
on.
grab a pair of the yoga pants.
The ones that I had on are like super. They're great yoga pants, but they're not comfortable.
Yes.
And I felt like I needed a little more comfort in my life
I got you.
today. Yeah. So.
Well, when we first talked about this, I was under the impression we were just doing audio, and then Jennifer introduced me to the idea of video. So, but with audio, I could show up looking like anything. I could be in my pajamas. Maybe we can have a pajama day.
Yeah, I think
that'd be fun.
I think we need to do that.
That would be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, I pretty much sleep in this.
Did you sleep in that last
No,
night?
I did not sleep in it.
Clearly not.
I might sleep in it tonight.
I will not be sleeping in this. I love
brutal
this. Yes.
Honesty.
Yeah, so everything's good. Today we are talking about what? Jennifer?
How are you today, Sean?
Oh, is it really still today? Like, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm finding myself bitching about some physical pain in my body, but other than that, I am really good. And I'm loving what we're doing here.
You feeling the alchemy?
Absolutely.
I want to like pass it.
Yeah, just
right.
kind of
Can we
like
play catch with it? Thank you.
Throw it back.
It's the alchemy ball because it's a ball.
The alchemy ball.
Ooh,
That's
are we changing
fun.
the name of our podcast?
Why did we think of that?
Wait a minute. That needs to be like
I'm writing that down.
something that we do, like a in-person event. The alchemy ball.
The alchemy.
Like a ball, you know?
Yeah.
Like a dance or
as
like
in-
a party. The alchemy ball. You wrote it down.
Can we wear masks? Like a masquerade
Yeah.
ball?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, that's on our to-do list.
I have the chills.
That's coming soon.
Woo!
Maybe next spring.
The alchemy ball.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right.
All right.
Like now I'm going off into ideas.
We're going to invite
that.
you to the alchemy ball.
Woohoo! Will there be punch?
Well, there'll be potion.
Even better.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Anyway.
I know. We'll just.
Wow.
I noticed
we
that
just
this
had the silence again.
This happens a lot with us anyway. So here's the thing. This is what I'm noticing. Is I'm feeling like I have to fill that air, right, with noise.
Mm-hmm.
But in reality, there are so many times that we're in conversation that we do just stop.
Oh yeah, when we're definitions of love. So you asked me the other day, what can we talk about for our next show? And I said definitions of love, and what I had in mind was just how I think I was like coming out of a conversation with someone. I think it had to do with kids. And it got me thinking of like how many different definitions of love. We talked about unconditional love in probably the first and second episode. I don't even think we mentioned it at all in the third one, which is surprising to me.
Yeah, because that's like, for me, that's like an underlying theme.
Yeah. Well, we said foundation of the whole entire.
Yep, it's love.
This whole thing is love. Yeah, that's part of our mission. So the other day, I was talking to someone about the love between parent and child, and how we as this is kind of a blanket statement, but usually parents are like, we love our children. We're like in love with our children, and they don't see us that way.
And then they start talking.
Well, yeah. Stop it. We love our kids. They don't love us the way that we love them.
No.
And ever. And it's not supposed to be that way, because then it becomes like the Oedipus thing, right? Where there's like the creepy love, and
no.
That's just not in nature. That's just not how it's supposed to be. But we love our kids unconditionally. Well,
yeah, I'm going to talk a little bit about
that. I don't even know the definitions of love. So that's why we're talking about this.
I can tell you that
there's romantic love, there's child-parent love, there's God love, there's,
Dictionary.com.
Tell me the def.
An intense feeling of deep affection, a great interest and pleasure in something, feel a deep romantic or sexual attraction to someone. And those were just 3 quick definitions on a Google search.
Which, that's not wrong.
No, all of it is right.
Right? And so just as you were reading that, though, I started to think of people's faces.
Really?
Yeah. Because I can attach it to so many different things.
Right.
Yeah. Like, what was some of the words again?
An intense feeling of deep affection.
Okay, so an intense feeling of deep affection. Let's talk about that.
Okay.
How many people and things and places have you felt an intense affection?
I don't even think I could. There's an uncountable amount.
An uncomfortable amount.
No, uncountable.
Oh, I was like an uncomfortable amount.
Lots. Like lots and lots and lots.
Yeah.
And I want to try to stop using like.
Okay.
Like, you know what I mean?
I probably won't, but...
it's just something I'm working on personally.
Now, as we're even just talking about love, my heart, like...
Opening up.
Yeah. Yeah.
An intense feeling of deep affection, a great interest and pleasure in something.
All right. What is that? Say it again.
A great interest and pleasure in something.
A great interest in pleasure.
And pleasure.
And pleasure. Okay. A great interest and pleasure of something. Okay.
I love to talk.
Yeah.
I love to express.
You have great interest.
Vocal.
And pleasure.
So something like this. Oh my God, Jennifer, I wasn't recording.
But we have the video. Just press it. It's okay.
I think I actually want you to share that. So hi, welcome to Hogs and Lavender Rose. Okay, listen, full disclosure.
We've been recording what does that say?
17 minutes, something like that.
Yep.
And I forgot to hit record on the damn audio. So
you'll have the video.
You have the video.
Hogs and Lavender.
Let's just do a quick recap. We did a shout out to Paul Salibi, Paul Salibi, who mixed our intro music and the intro words, and a shout out to my son Tyler, whose voice it is you hear during the intro of our podcast. We did talk a little bit about where we are right now today. I'm so super sorry that I didn't hit that, and I feel really bad. But we are talking about definitions of love. Yeah, I'm absolutely forgiving myself.
I think it's great. We have the YouTube.
Yeah.
Just go. You want to watch us anyway.
It's all good.
Great.
So we're talking about definitions of love. And we were literally just talking about the definitions that I found on dictionary.com, which are an intense feeling of deep affection, a great interest and pleasure in something, and feel a deep romantic or sexual attraction to someone. So we were just talking about that great interest and pleasure in something. And I was mentioning how
many things.
I love to do this podcast because I love to talk. So something like this, and that's when I looked at my computer and I realized that I wasn't recording.
Can I see those words? Can I hold that
yes,
for a sec?
You most certainly can.
Because I forget instantly.
At the top of the page.
Yeah.
And this is where we're at in our conversation. We're talking about definitions of love.
An intense feeling of deep affection. You said there were countless.
Oh yeah, countless. Just many.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just look at May and I'm like, oh, God.
Yeah.
And then the next morning I wake up and I don't want to be a dog owner. So go figure.
I feel that way a lot about my cat, who does not clean his butt.
No, Barry does not clean his butt.
Butthole Barry.
But we still love
Shout
him.
out to Butthole Barry. A great interest and pleasure in something, and then feel a deep romantic or sexual attraction to someone.
Wow.
So interesting that that's like the quote unquote one of the definitions. And we talked a little bit about the love between a parent and child, and how parent to child is different than child to parent.
Hugely.
Yeah. And that was like one of the things that in Pathways that Carol mentioned was our kids will never see us, period. But they'll never see us how we see ourselves, or how even like other people see us, our friends and our family. But our children are just like we are just, I don't even know what we are. I don't know.
I could go into that.
Yeah,
that's
conversation
like with
that's
my son last night.
A
So
few episodes.
there have been, and I do want to touch upon that. So I'm
yeah,
gonna have to write that on the list.
Sure.
And that's another thing I want to stop saying. Right? This is the speech part of me.
And so
and like.
I know.
I often say to my children when they are conflicted with something that's going on between the two of us, especially when I say drive safe, they will never understand what it is like to be a mom, first of all, because they're both boys, and to even comprehend the love that I have for them as my children. And I remind them of that.
And the thoughts that go through your mind when you say drive safe.
Exactly.
And they're like,
I'm always driving safe. Brush your teeth. I always brush my teeth.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
What could possibly happen? I'm like, do you want to go in there for a second and see what could possibly happen? Yeah, it's just one form of love.
You did touch upon how we love our children unconditionally, but then you stopped. It's on the video, just not on the audio, but it is going to be now. And that is something that I've recently discovered. I have put conditions on my children unknowingly.
Well, yeah, that's why I stopped myself.
Yeah, we can cuddle, we can read, clean your room first. There's a condition right there.
Or even you might get angry over grades or a performance, or I don't even know. So, and I was actually thinking about my parents, but it's a practice. Unconditionally loving children
is another practice. Wow, we're just coming off of our episodes about practices.
Just another practice.
Just another practice.
Are you so excited that this an infinite amount of practices that we offer here on Hawks and Lavender Rose.
We are going to get used to that. What did we come? Oh, the alchemy ball.
The alchemy ball.
You're all, by the way, the folks that are listening to the audio of this, we're hosting an alchemy ball
someday,
at some point.
Yeah,
and you're invited.
You're all invited somehow, some way.
And
but
if you want to wear masks, like if you've ever had that desire to go to a masquerade ball, like me, wear a mask.
Oh yeah,
I think that would be a lot.
And
of
we'll do some stuff.
We'll do some stuff. We can guarantee that. We just crack ourselves up, I swear.
It's because we're talking about love.
Yeah.
And I am and I'm in a new relationship, so I'm feeling lots of love. Love.
Like I mention all the time, I'm a note taker, and I do like to have some notes down before we do one of our shows. And I think going forward, I'm just going to do it on email or Word or something and just send you the notes, and that way we'll both have them. Not that you have to use them, but...
Well, maybe I'll do it someday.
Someday. Just like we'll do something at the ball. There's something that came up, and we are going to get deeper into the definitions of love, but there's something that I either read or heard sometime back, at some point in my journey. Instead of, when you first meet someone, what do you generally ask someone that you recently met?
Well, what do I ask them? In what
Well, okay, so
what
say
genre of meeting?
Okay,
like
so
dating?
No.
friend,
Just
client.
like you're out somewhere and someone introduces you to someone, and the next thing you know, you're with this person and you're just having to make some conversation. What might be one of the things you ask them?
I mean,
All right, let me just put it out
I don't know.
So
yeah,
what do
come
you
on.
do?
Well, yeah, I was trying to avoid that because I don't know if I asked that question. I think I'm more of an observer, and I'll ask questions based on what I observe.
Okay.
Because I'm not a fan of like, what do you do? Because I don't think that defines who we are.
Okay, so I'm asking the wrong person
Sorry, I
that
know.
question. But would you agree that
Yes.
a lot of people do
Yep,
that? Oh,
absolutely.
what do you do for a job?
Yeah,
What do you do for a living?
Yeah.
Excuse me. What the article said, or the person I was listening to mentioned, was asking someone that you recently met, what do they love?
Yeah, I was gonna say, what do you love? Yeah.
What do you love? Excuse me, I'm gonna have a coffee.
Yeah,
with
no, go for it. What do you love? What leads your soul? Imagine. Those are kind of the questions that I kind of dive into in the dating world.
What do
if I'm going to be
you
honest
love?
with you.
I want you to be honest.
Because the other stuff I don't care about. I don't care what you ate last night. I don't care like what you really. I mean, I care what you watch on TV. That's later though. You know,
Right.
like I want to know what's in your heart and if you actually have ever explored that before with everyone that I meet. But I mean, I guess for me, that's what comes up when I think about meeting a potential partner, like life partner. I want to dive in because the small stuff is very boring to me.
Well,
yeah.
you mentioned that in our intro.
In the intro,
episode.
that's right. Yep.
Which is interesting because I've reflected on that a lot.
Yeah.
That it's always been, or it's a challenge for you. You've never been really good at the small talk, and keeping it at the surface level. Because I never have either. It's painful. But again, let's come back. Love. Love is everything.
Love is everything.
When I was feeling into the notes that I was writing, I just noticed that my mind, or my feelings, were going here and here and here and here and here. And I'm like, well, hold on. Love is everything. And then I came to love is ... Finish that. Love is what?
All around us.
Love is setting boundaries. Go ahead.
We're just going to keep
Yeah,
going.
let's do a few.
Love is sometimes shadowed seemingly shadowed by the dark.
Love is speaking truthfully.
Love is affection.
Love is saying no when you mean no.
Love is appreciation.
Love is getting curious.
Love is honesty.
Yeah, wow, that one just made me stop for a second because that's like so all-encompassing. At least for me, because that's one of my practices is the honesty.
Yeah.
Love is self-care. Couple more.
Yeah, I know. You got me thinking though. Love is silence.
Love is nature.
I like that. Maybe we elaborate on a couple of these. So I think love is honesty. You said that's been. Love
again,
is truth, which
going
is that's part
back,
of our mission.
Right? That's the truth and the honesty.
So what does that mean to you?
That to me means understanding, being very clear about what my truth is in a situation, and then coming back to my practice. Here we are back with the practice of expressing that to whomever I need to express it to from a heart-centered place of love, not only for the other person, but for myself. Let me rephrase that. A heart-centered place of love for myself, because it's coming from my truth, and the other person. And to remind myself that I'm here to live my life to the fullest and to not make choices based on someone else's happiness.
Or comfort.
And to remember that when I do speak my truth from a place of love, I'm not responsible for how the other person feels or reacts or responds.
Yeah.
That
is,
this is me.
That's huge. To speak, it's not easy. It's like, I find that to be really vulnerable. I was going to say really challenging, but I don't find it to be really challenging anymore. It is a challenge, not really challenging, because the more you do it.
You keep waffling on that challenging
Well,
thing.
it's not really challenging. It's challenging. It's not really challenging anymore for me because I've practiced it.
Right.
Before, it used to be paralyzing.
Right.
In certain situations. Paralyzing because I was afraid, well, I was supposedly afraid of their reaction to my truth, but I was really afraid of the moment, like what effect that was gonna create, what by my cause, cause and effect, yeah. So it's fear, right? Like, so you hear about fear and love being, it's either fear or it's love. And so the vulnerability is about diving into the fear because the foundation is unconditional love.
Right.
Yeah.
For self and the other person.
Yeah. Yep.
And truth is definitely going to be a topic that we're going to talk about in an episode as well.
Well, truth leads to deeper love.
It certainly has in my life.
Yeah, and we're not talking like romantic love. It can romantically. I mean, it can enhance your romantic life.
Truth can enhance every relationship.
Yeah.
Well, it can.
Has the potential to enhance it. Yeah, well, and it depends on who the relationship is with and how open they are to the truth.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, we might have that practice and really want to do this, but other people might not be so open to it, especially when it makes them feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Right? There was something, fear knocked, love answered, and there was no one there.
Fear knocked, love answered. And there was
no one there.
Do you get like a visual when you say, my brain creates impressions?
I do see a door,
yeah.
Right? Because when I think knock, I think a door, and I see black. And then it's black and light. It's just light and darkness is what it is. What do you see when I said
something similar, except it was like a scene, but there was a door. It was mostly light, maybe some purple, and I just liked fear knocked, love answered, and no one was there. Like, I could see the door open. It was the spaciousness, I feel. Like, that's what I visualized.
And then love creates that spaciousness. Love is the spaciousness, or spaciousness is love. Love is everything.
Yeah.
I just keep coming back to that. Love is everything.
I feel like it can be touchy, love, saying that love is everything. That might trigger some people because of the world that we live in, and the viewpoints that can be had about the ways of the world and things that are happening in the world, which is where like fear and love exist, because the things that we see that aren't love or loving or unconditional love are based in fear. Right, the wars and violence and what else is there? Violence. Let's talk about the bad stuff.
I don't want to talk about the bad stuff.
Well, like what's that? Like what's happening? Just like power, ego, all these things that don't seem like they're based in love anymore. But the potential for things to be healed by and through love is always there.
Absolutely.
So one of the things, I don't know if I mentioned this in any of the other episodes, but I firmly believe that why the work that we do is important, awakening people to the understanding of love and truth, and the light flipping on, hopefully, for a lot of people. It's like that. I feel like it can be instant in anyone. Though, like if you think of the worst person, whoever you consider to be like the worst person in the world, whether it's someone you know or it's like a political figure or whatever, a leader, I don't know. Any person that you think of the worst person in the world, the energy of love is always going to be stronger than the energy of fear. And the more people that can be influenced and try to live from a state of love, and the energy that's created from that can influence, right? So you, like the worst person in the world, you normally would not try to love, right? So here's another practice.
And here we are back to practices.
Right. Is actually holding that person, holding yourself in so much love, and hopefully it overflows to that person that you think is the worst person, and holding them in a state of love with the hope and the knowing and the understanding that in any moment in time, their light can switch on. And the more energy that we, the more energy around love that we create and that we can send out and try to really work from a genuine place of unconditional love, the more lights will get turned on. It's just...
Do you know who Rush Limbaugh is?
Yeah.
Wayne Dyer used to keep a photo of Rush Limbaugh on his altar.
And he got that practice from Ram Dass. Because that's what Ram Dass has always kept presidents, people that really he needs to work on loving.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that is a great, I would love to have a couple pictures on my altar.
Now I'm thinking, who do I want to put there?
I just don't know if I want to see their face
That's
every
what
day.
I'm thinking.
But
Like,
then you're supposed to be like, I love you.
Yeah, do I want to look at you as I'm starting to meditate? I suppose I could.
I know.
So we have an article here. 36 questions that lead to love. You want to play around with some of these?
Sure, yeah.
Wow.
Oh, boy.
This is interesting. Given the choice of anyone in the world, whom would you want as a dinner guest?
Anyone in the world.
Anyone in the world.
Anyone in the world.
And I want you to think about that too. When I say you, I mean whoever's watching us and listening.
Can it be
to
like
us.
lunch? Just because dinner I'm tired?
Oh my God! Let's rephrase that to who would you want to have a meal with?
A meal! Alright, that's great. So it could be
And you can
breakfast,
choose
too.
the time of the day.
And you can choose the time of the day. Okay, so anyone in the world alive?
It doesn't say. I'm just going to let you answer that question.
Anyone in the world right now. He's been on my mind. So I'm just going to say Trump. Right now, that answer, I don't want to fall in love with it. Or maybe I do want to fall in love with him.
You need to put his picture on your altar.
I know I do. That's what I was talking about. Because at first I thought, the Dalai Lama or Thich Nhat Hanh or Ram Dass or someone that I really admire and I see as like a spiritual leader who I've learned from. But no, I feel like I'd want to challenge myself to sit with someone that stirs me up.
Interesting. I wouldn't go on that route.
Okay.
And so maybe I'd have to feel into that. Why?
Yeah.
I know I just didn't go in that route. It was more like, for me, it was more enjoyment. I wasn't thinking more of a challenge so I could practice love.
Yeah, so who would it be?
If I wanted a challenge?
No, just who would you choose? The same question posed to you.
This is really,
What
you're
meal?
going to think I'm totally fucked.
Probably.
John Gruden.
I don't even know who that is.
He is the coach of the Oakland Raiders, or the LA Raiders are now. He used to commentate football.
Yeah.
And I loved listening to him. And he left, he went back to being a coach. And every time I watch football, I'm like, God, I wish I could listen to John again.
Get out of here.
And I would just love to just sit and chit-chat with him.
Okay. All right.
Totally
That's
messed
fine.
up.
I love that.
He was one of the best commentators. I really do appreciate him. Would you like to be famous? And in what way?
All right.
What does this have to do with love?
These are questions that lead to
love.
love. Would I like to be famous? What was the second part of that?
In what way?
In what way? Famous. Ugh, I don't know.
I don't want to be.
Yeah.
Okay, so when I look at celebrities, which are not my favorite people in the world.
Wow. That's a strong statement because it's a lot of people.
Well, not all of them. Some of them I do like. Some of them are just so power driven and ego driven, and I just. Okay, that's a whole nother topic.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want my life to change so drastically that I don't have the privacy that I love so much.
Right.
I do not want reporters and paparazzi outside of my house.
I feel like it's a big responsibility.
Huge, and I don't want it.
I don't want that responsibility.
I want to be.
Wouldn't mind being well known,
influential, and well known in a smaller setting.
Right, like the setting of love and trust, like this Hawks and Lavender Rose.
Exactly.
You know, like well known in your field, and maybe it's like a little bit broader than what you represent, but to be like famous, like an actor or a singer. I don't know. I don't know. Seems like a big responsibility, and sometimes.
Sometimes what?
I wouldn't want to be that responsible.
If you could change anything about the way you were raised, what would it be?
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, that's just like opening Pandora's box.
Sorry, I don't think
Madeline
I would change
Kevin,
anything.
if you're listening.
Honestly.
If I could change anything, it would be to be more open with communication and feelings and wants, needs, desires within my family unit when I was growing up.
I guess like when I think about that question, I think that it would have changed my path. And I really, for all that has gone down on my path, I really love every moment of it at this point in my life. So I wonder if I, like, saying that, it would have changed the trajectory, which doesn't necessarily mean it would be, I guess it would just be different. I can't imagine a different life than what I have.
I agree with you about that. And yes, I recognize things. And sometimes I wish that it could have been different, but it all led me to where I am today.
Right.
And for that, I am truly grateful. If a crystal ball could tell you the truth about yourself, your life, the future, or anything else, what would you want to know? So if a crystal ball could tell you the truth about yourself, your life, the future, or anything else, what would you want to know?
What would I want to know? I feel like I know everything I need to know.
Yeah, it's
I don't
question.
know.
We're just going to move on from that.
I mean, like a future? I don't want to know about the future.
Oh God, that's a hard one. Ooh. What does friendship mean to you?
Wait, I'm thinking about that other
Oh,
one.
I
feel like I know. But I kind of stayed with it. Like I think it would be for me to anything that I like haven't acknowledged, or just to bring to light anything that I don't maybe even know that I'm like hiding or acknowledged, that would drive me in a more focused way to like for my purpose. I could have crystal ball with it. I don't even know what the fuck it would show me, but that's kind of like what came up, like to reveal the hidden things that I'm like not seeing that maybe I would see in like 3 years and be like, ah man, that's like, but then that's just, I don't know. See, then that's kind of like messing up your path.
I just want to point out that I wasn't the one that found this article.
I know, it was me. Well, I actually heard about it on another podcast that I listened to.
What, if anything, is too serious to be joked about?
I don't really think anything. Timing is everything.
Audience is something.
Maybe, yeah. Do you think there's anything that's too serious to be joked about? I've heard some like pretty crude comedians say some shit, and I think it's hilarious. It's rough. It's like, ooh, but it's funny.
I guess it all depends on how easily one gets offended. I think that definitely plays a role as well.
Well, but for you personally?
The first thing that came to mind was death. Like, that death should not be joked about. But then I go to, well, why can't we find the lightness in life? Right?
Like, why? What do you mean death shouldn't be joked about?
Like, if someone...
Like the death of someone?
Yeah.
All right. It's touchy.
It is touchy. It's interesting. I know of someone whose family hired a comedian to come to I think it was like an all-in-one sort of ceremony and celebration of life thing. They hired a comedian.
That's kind of great.
I thought, what? So of course,
I
judgment came out
about
first.
death though with my kids about my death. I said when I die, because you know the Body World exhibit, how it's like plastination,
You
whatever.
Donate your body.
I want my what's it called? Wake. I want to be in a yoga pose. So creepy. And then we died laughing.
Are you naked or clothed?
I think I'm naked. You like just the muscles, like
downward facing dog.
Yes, that's what I said. And then I love my kids because they just totally jumped right on it with me. They were like, "Wow!" Like, and then they were coming up with how they would position me, and I'm like, "That is so."
Before rigor mortis sets in.
Right. Hilarious.
I wonder if they can do that after you've been embalmed. Listen, when I die, everybody knows, and I'm just telling the whole world here.
You want to be cremated?
Yes. Do not
I
put
do
me
too.
in a box.
I do too.
I do not want my body in the ground forever. But they also have green
the trees. Yeah.
So we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
My nose is already.
All right. I feel like what is this? This is not leading to love.
This isn't leading to love. This is just leading to more confusion.
It might lead us to fall in love with each other if we read those to each other.
Yeah, and I think that's what it's really based on, because some of the things that I read was take a moment to do this with your partner.
Yeah.
Sort of exercises.
But you know what it does do? I guess it's kind of like an example of questions. Questions can be very poignant in sparking a deeper relationship, which ultimately leads to feeling more love toward whoever you're with.
Acceptance of other people is a theme in my life. And I honestly, there have been some people that I haven't accepted. And then my capacity to love is not there because I'm not accepting them for who they are. So that is another practice of mine.
Which is part of your shadow work too, right? Because then it's a reflection of something within you.
Right.
Well, can you give a couple examples of what you have been struggling to accept within another person? Because I think we all can relate. That's why. So just spotlight.
Yeah, there's a spotlight on me right now. What I haven't been able to accept in another person, maybe just quirks or habits. Let's use that. Like different habits that someone might have that I might find irritating or confusing, or I judge as silly, or whatever. It could be anything. There's not one specific thing that's coming up for me right now. So then I realized that my capacity to open my heart fully, and it's not even so much about me expressing the fact I love you, but for my own self, being able to open my heart and feel that fullness for them, it's not there because there's a level of judgment and non-acceptance. And I've been beginning to recognize that more in my life. Again, another practice of just becoming aware of the times where I'm noticing a little bit of judgment. Well, I just kind of sugarcoated that. When I'm noticing judgment.
Yep.
And the fact that
Did you see that? She took out a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a great...
Because that's my truth.
Yeah. Getting to
there
the point
is.
also is...
I mean, as a coach and as who I am, I really try to practice living a non-judgmental life, but it still happens. It's still there. And then when I don't accept someone for who they are, when I don't accept a little quirk or a habit or whatever, then I'm not fully present. I'm not fully in love. And I feel that if I can look at that and say, well, that is them, and I'm going to practice accepting them for what it is they do or what they say or their actions, then I'll be able to find more love for myself, life, and them.
So how do you get to that point?
Awareness, number one. and it's a shift within myself. And I've noticed that the more I'm aware of it and shift internally to, I have placed conditions on you, I have not fully accepted you, I'm going to start to, then I find more love for myself as well.
So the hawk is coming to mind right now because you widen your perspective of that person.
And myself.
And yourself.
And I may just lay down on my broken toe. And my capacity to, I'm sorry, it's okay, baby, you didn't do anything wrong. My capacity